we went to Taco Tuesday, and
Heck yeah.
I think I had like 12 tacos that night. And Jared was there, and I said, my abs are going to look terrible tomorrow. And he said, no, dude, you just carb backloaded. I'm like, what the heck is that? He's like, your abs are going to look great. So I woke up the next morning, and I was dry. I looked really good. I was like,
welcome to the Unbroken podcast with Chris Crosby. I got a really special guest, Jordan Chiles, with me.
hello, guys. How you doing?
I'm really excited. I've been kind of like a soccer fan on Facebook for, I don't know, 2.5 years as I've been doing Facebook.
We've seen each other a few times at comps.
Yeah, like I'm always that person that comes up and talks to everybody and says hi. And like you were my mom's coach when she did CrossFit over here at CrossFit Provision. So.
Yeah. Hopefully she comes back sometimes.
I know, I keep working on her, man.
She's
but
busy.
Yeah, she's just started that new job and everything. But I'm really excited just because, I mean, Jordan, he's competed in regionals. He's done several team comps with some other people that I'm fans with. And so just the stories that I'm excited to talk about. I'm really going to try hard not to turn into like Chris Farley and just be like, do you remember that time when you lifted that heavy weight? That was cool, huh?
Yeah.
So I'm going to try hard not to do that. But so you've competed in some regionals. You're a co-owner of CrossFit Provision.
Yes, sir.
And you're the head programmer here.
Correct.
You want to just, I kind of touched some of the big things that I know. Do you want to kind of fill in the blanks, tell a little bit about yourself?
I started CrossFit at the end of 2011, right after my college athletic career was over. And the first workout I did, I fell in love with it. And I said, okay, this is what I want to do. And I was kind of in between what path I wanted to take as far as a career went. I was thinking about going to dental school. My dad's a dentist. And then I was thinking about going maybe to physical therapy school.
Cool.
So there's a bunch of options up in the air, but then I started CrossFit and fell in love with it. I interned at CrossFit Springfield my second semester of my senior year, and 3 or 4 months passed, finished my internship, ended up coaching at another gym, and then about 8 months to a year later, we opened up Provision.
That's awesome. You've been open for about two and a half years?
2.5 years, yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I think you guys opened up about the same time that my gym did.
Yep.
Not my gym, but the one I work out at. So you said that you played sports in college.
Uh-huh.
Did you play high school too? What did you play?
Growing up, I played pretty much any sport you could think of.
Yeah.
Anything I could. I played a lot of golf growing up, but once I got to high school, I had to kind of choose which sports I wanted to play. And I ended up playing soccer, basketball, and baseball my freshman year. And then I was introduced to football, kind of kicking and punting, because my soccer background.
Your soccer background, yeah.
And then my sophomore year, I played soccer and football in the same season. And then I didn't play basketball my sophomore year. I ended up just spending that time to lift weights after starting football. And then baseball in the spring. And then my junior year, after playing football my sophomore year and just kicking and punting, I was kind of bored just standing on the sidelines kicking and punting. So I actually went out for the team, and I was a running back and cornerback as well, and I returned punts and kicks.
Okay, so you played both ends of the special teams and then played. So you were kind of a big utility player.
Yeah, most of the guys on the team, we were a pretty small school. Not a lot of people wanted to come play football just because our camps were so intense in the summer, and our teams weren't that big, so most of us did play both sides of the ball.
Okay.
So it wasn't uncommon to see someone stay out there for the whole game.
The whole game. Yeah. That's cool, though. I mean, that's cool that you went from like the kicker and the punter, and then you're just like, well, I'm going to hit people too. Mm-hmm. Usually they try to protect that guy.
Right.
That's cool. So then you started playing college. What did you do in college?
I just punted in college. I kicked a little bit my junior year, I hadn't kicked since high school, so
Yeah.
didn't go as I would have liked
As
it
you liked
to.
it, yeah.
But I still punted, so I punted all 4 years, and I mean it was a great way to pay for school. So
Yeah.
kids, if you're out there, learn how to kick
Learn
and
how to
punt. It's
kick.
an easy way to get your school paid for.
Now, when you would you be that guy though? When you kicked, did you run down and still try to hit somebody?
No, in college I played more of the safety, and same thing in high school. It was just in case someone broke coverage, that was my job to make sure they didn't
Yeah.
get past me and score.
That makes sense. You're just not kamikazing down the field. You're kind of
Correct. Yeah.
okay. So, what was your first CrossFit workout? Do you remember?
Not off the top of my head, I don't know exactly what it was because it wasn't a benchmark or anything like that, but I know that it had double unders and rope climbs in it, and both of those things are skills that you have to develop.
Yeah, you just
and
can't.
I had no clue how to do them, and I whipped myself 1,000 times with the jump rope that night. My forearms and grip were blasted from the rope climbs, and after that, from that point on, because there were people in there that I thought, man, I'm way bigger than that guy. I should be stronger than him. I should be kicking his butt, and there's no way he should be beating me. And I think that's one of the things that got me hooked, just because I'm so competitive and I hate losing.
So you scratch that competitive itch that you had.
And so after sports were over, I had to find. I found this as an outlet for competition. So that's why I like it.
That's cool. And you're still doing a bunch of competing and stuff right now. What's your go-to workout, man?
So I started doing. I was just doing my programming.
Yeah.
A few probably. Well, we've done 2 cycles of it, and it's about 14 or 15 weeks. So probably 30 weeks ago, I adopted Jared Stevens' strength program.
Okay.
From 4 and 7.
Yeah.
We do this 4 sets of 6 down to 1 with different percentages, and we do back squat, deadlifts, and strict press.
Wow.
And I saw lots of strength gains with that, and all of my lifts went up, clean, snatches, everything went up.
So it's almost like strongman stuff.
Yeah.
But like instead of bench,
It
you're
basically
doing
CrossFit Total is what we did our strength
That's cool.
lifts with, and I started programming that, and then about maybe a month and a half ago, I didn't have a set plan for what I wanted to do in the mornings, so I'd end up just standing around for a while, and then I'd end up either like maxing on a lift or shooting my bow in the gym, or something like that. So I wouldn't get a lot done as far as cardio goes in the morning, and at night I would do our program, and I'd get a lot out of that. But I still, the competitors out there that are competing at the highest level, they're training hours on end a day.
Yeah, 2 or 3 times a day.
Right, and so about a month ago, I started following that competitors training.
Yeah, that's real big at our gym.
Yeah, and my cardio increased a lot, and I'm starting to. It's definitely helped my mental game.
Okay.
And I'm able to push through workouts a little bit harder than I used to, and as far as continue to move through the workouts, even when I'm breathing heavy, it's helped a ton. But because I was that percentage work that we were doing, that it helped a lot with the strength. But this comp training doesn't do a lot of percentage work as far as back squats, strict press, and deadlifts.
It's a lot of complexes, isn't it?
Right, it's more complexes. I don't think we ever did deadlift for strength while I was doing it, and so a lot of my friends that are doing it are seeing great results from it.
Yeah.
But for me, it wasn't quite working.
Okay.
So my cardio was getting better, but everything else, I was just getting upset. I think the volume was so high,
Right.
and the way that I eat, it wasn't working for me.
Okay.
So I'm still doing probably 1 or 2 of their cardio workouts in the morning, but at night I'm going back to our stuff.
Okay.
So I'm still doing that percentage work, and this week, I started that this week, and I already feel way better.
That's
I
cool.
feel really confident in my training now.
Isn't it funny how you try different things and you find things that work? Because for one person, a certain set of programming is just their body really reacts to it. They really take off with it, and then for another person, it's just not their jam.
Yeah.
So just kind of getting in there and lifting some heavy weight, but then like you're supplementing with something that you did see the benefit of the cardio.
Right.
Because you see a lot of the point of CrossFit, right, is to be a well-rounded athlete.
Right.
And so people that are just in there and they're just stupid strong. I mean, they're so strong, but if they don't have the lungs,
exactly,
it kind of hurts them in the long game.
Yeah, and the cardio workouts that are programmed on that site are great, and they're helping me a lot, and they really help. I think the middle aspect of my abilities is the one thing that need work, and it's helped a ton. So I'm able to push, and I'm excited to see what happens come open season.
Yeah, I talk about, like, for me, one of my biggest hurdles is the mental side of it, because, like, you get into a workout and there's something that's just, like, normally just would crush me, but then, like, I don't know, like, I have a bad day at work, or, you know, something ticks me off, and I just attack that workout, and really I'm not worried about, like, oh, I have to do 50 burpees or anything. Like, I just start going, and the next thing I know, I'm like, something, like, the way that's programmed, I'm like, this is going to kick my butt, and at the end, you're just, it feels awesome.
Right.
And just, like, for me, it's always a struggle on how to train the mental side of it.
Right.
Because it's really easy to get beat up in the middle of a workout, and then just be like, why am I even out here doing this? I guess, I don't know, this, like, seeing that some people train to just see that dark place every time they train. And for me, once it starts hurting, I'm just like, I'm going to pull back a little bit. But do you try to see that dark place when you train every time?
In training, a lot of times I just listen to my body. If I can go there, I'll go there.
Yeah.
But usually in training, there's not someone next to me that's going to push me. And I'm not like, I have to beat them or else I won't place well.
Yeah.
So in training, I kind of just listen to my body, see how I feel. I try to push myself and keep moving as best I can. And lately I've been, even if I'm breathing heavy, I try to keep moving.
Yeah.
If my muscles aren't fatigued and I can continue to move, then I can try to continue to move. But if I'm just breathing heavy, I think that I can keep going.
Yeah.
Once I hit muscle fatigue or my body says, say my legs, I'm doing squats and my legs say, hey, you got to drop it.
Yeah.
Then I'll drop it, shake it out real quick, and try to pick it back up. So I've been really trying to do that a lot lately.
So just keep moving, but, like, shake it out. I saw your one video that you did with, like, all, like, the squats. I forget what you were doing, but, like, you were trying to squat, like, heavy weight, like 20 times or something like that. Yeah, it was a while ago.
A long time ago?
Yeah.
It may have been, was I just trying to do a 20 rep max?
Something like that, yeah. I don't know if it was a max, but it was a part of a complex or something you were going to do, and you're like, next time I'll get 20. I don't know. Like.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so part of that strength program, the first week of it, after you find your max, is 4 sets of 6 at 70% of your 1 rep max.
Okay.
And I was just wanting to kind of mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so you're supposed to do it every minute, or after you finish your 6th rep, you rack it, and you rest a minute, and you're right back on it.
That's right.
Or you can try to do an EMOM, so you're right back on it, and 6 reps may take about anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds, depending on how fast you squat.
Right.
And so I was like, well, I'm going to try to keep this bar on my back the whole time.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's right.
And so I got through 2 rounds, so I had the bar on my back about 2.5 minutes, and then my arms started to go numb.
Isn't that weird?
And so I had to rack it, shook it out. I was still able to do the EMOM, but I wasn't able to do it the way I had planned before. So I like doing stuff like that just to test my limits, and I kind of had to get in my head a little bit. So that stuff like that helps keep training fun for me.
It's the things that you're just like, okay, well, here's the work. I'm gonna do the work. Let's see if we can make it a little bit more spicy, and I mean that's CrossFit right there. You know, you have to be ready for anything. You never know in a competition where they're just like, all right, now you got to keep it on your back for 10 rounds. And it's heavy like that. I remember one of my first videos that I watched of you, and I got really into rowing for a while, and you were trying to do this 500 meter for time, and I think you did it in like 127 or 128, and just stupid fast, and I was like, I wonder if I can do that. And I went to the gym that next night, and I did it in like 131, and I was seeing stars, and I couldn't walk for a while afterwards. And I was like, holy crap! Like, do you still do a lot of that rowing stuff?
I hate rowing because
Yeah.
I have short legs, short arms, so rowing's not a very good movement for me. but that programming has me rowing all the time.
Yeah.
So as far as calorie rows go, like I can keep moving on a calorie row and pull a calorie per pull and at a decent stroke rate. So I'm not just pulling it back and sitting and letting the wheel spin. I'm actually moving like the whole time.
So you got a good like strokes per minute rate going.
So that since the comp training is having me rowing so much, I'm getting more comfortable with it, but I just hate rowing. And like we had to do a 2,000 meter row followed by some other stuff one day, but anything over 500 is just, that's where my mental game has to get work. So
it gets grueling.
Yes. That day though, I was just like, I'll see how fast I can do a 500. I think I was supposed to do 3 or 4 500s as fast as you can and keep them all within a few seconds of each other. But I rode the first one as fast as I could, and I was like, I'm done.
And I did
my
it.
My butt and hammies were burning, so I was ready to go.
Now, one of the things that you're kind of famous for in the area is your eating.
Yes.
Is that carb backloading?
Yep.
And I think I'm in a Facebook group with you. Like Amber Rose is in the other room that's set up. Can you explain carb? Because I remember after one competition, me and my wife went and ate a pizza afterwards, and we're like, we did it, we carb backloaded, but we obviously didn't do it. So like, what's carb backloading?
So, I'm not a nutritionist or anything like that.
Yeah.
But this was probably 2.5 years ago. We went to Taco Tuesday, and
Heck yeah.
I think I had like 12 tacos that night. And Jared was there, and I said, my abs are gonna look terrible tomorrow. And he said, no, dude, you just carb backloaded. I'm like, what the heck is that? He's like, your abs are gonna look great. So I woke up the next morning, and I was dry, I looked really good. I was like, what in the world? So I looked up what the heck carb backloading was, and read a bunch of articles, watched a bunch of YouTube videos. They have a PDF out that's like 300 some pages.
Wow.
But I hate reading, so I just read the Cliff Notes version.
Give me the highlights.
Yeah, so basically you limit your carbs during the day, 30 grams or less. You just eat proteins and fats. Okay. And then at night, you crush carbs. And they say the high glycemic ones are the best for you. They say something about it helps.
It's like the simple sugar.
Your muscles break it down quicker and utilizes them faster. Okay. So
like white bread.
Yeah, I eat donuts, pizza, ice cream, cookies. Whatever.
And so is that every night that you do that, or is it like, do you get a day that you get to do that? Or
typically, if you're not going to train the next day, then they don't really recommend it, but I do it every day anyway because I love to eat. Yeah. So you're just junky food. So all day you kind of just you eat protein and fat. So in the morning. Yeah, go through like your kind of like a typical day. So when I first started, I was doing breakfast, and for breakfast I'd eat eggs and bacon or eggs and an avocado. Okay. Something like that. And then for lunch, I would do some sort of protein, ground beef, ground turkey, chicken, and then I'd have an avocado with that. Okay. Or some almonds. Sometimes I'll do peanut butter. They say somewhere, I thought I also read somewhere that try to limit the peanut butter intake, and avocados are a better source of fat. You like almonds if you wanted to? Yeah. Okay. And then for dinner, after I train, I just go eat some sort of protein, whether it's chicken or whatever the other ones, and then I eat any sort of carb that I can get my hands on. Yeah. And I eat a ton of it. And the more I eat, the better I typically feel the next day. That's cool. After a while, I was gaining muscle, but I got big enough to where gymnastics were getting hard. And so muscle ups weren't as easy as they were. And so I quit doing breakfast, and I read that, and you may have heard of it, bulletproof coffee. Yeah. And so all it is, I have my coffee, and I put 2 tablespoons of butter in it, and then a tablespoon of MCT oil, which you can get it from like Mama Jean's. Is it kind of like a fish oil kind of? I think I read on the bottle it says it's like a thermogenic aid, so I don't know if it increases your body temp to help burn fat. Okay. I think it is a form of fat. Okay. From what I understand. Sure. but that's all I drink, and then I'll work out at 10:30. I'll have my protein shake post workout, and then I'll go coach again, have lunch, and then I'll coach a few classes, and then I'll train at night, and then I'll have my post workout shake, and then I'll go do my dinner.
Do your dinner.
Mm-hmm.
What's your you post a lot of pizza.
Yes.
Is pizza is your favorite?
Yes.
Do you have like is it just Casey's or
Casey's
like Little
is-
Caesars or Papa
Casey's
John's?
is probably my favorite,
Okay.
but Little Caesars is convenient and it's quick, so I can just walk right in, grab it, and go home.
Yeah.
Casey's, you gotta wait about 25 minutes to go pick it up, which isn't bad. But growing up, Casey's, we had multiple Casey's gas stations in
Yeah.
my hometown, so that's the kind of pizza I had growing up, and it was my favorite.
That's awesome.
So anytime I can have Casey's pizza, I'll go and
You
get
go
it.
get a Casey's.
Yeah. So I've gotten multiple free Casey's pizzas from all the tabs that I take.
Yeah, don't they is it 10 you get one free or something like that?
Mhm.
So they know you by name over there now?
I hope so. Trying to get sponsored.
That's awesome. Casey's, if you're out there. So do you is it just one large pizza or do you go for like a...
It just depends. Usually I just do a large pizza, and then if I'm hungry later, I usually have donuts or some sort of other carb sitting on my counter that I'll go and eat more of if I'm hungry later.
I remember some trash talking that happened not too long ago with good old Andres, or I always forget his name, Hordos.
Yeah.
Don't get mad at me for butchering your name.
Yeah.
But like with Derek and you, and I chimed in a little bit, but how fast you can eat a dozen Krispy Kreme glazed donuts. Did you guys ever do that?
Not yet. So hey guys, if you want to challenge, let's do it.
Yeah.
But I did eat a large Casey's pizza, pepperoni, in 11 minutes and like 22 seconds or something like that.
That's awesome.
And it may have been 11:50. I don't remember. But I think that Derek may have tried and didn't get it.
Didn't get it done. I remember back at my heaviest I weighed 348 pounds. I was a big boy. And it was my first 6 or 7 months at the gym, and I went up to Macy, one of our owners at my gym, and I was just like, I'm going to challenge you to a 20-minute EMOM. And he's like, okay. Every minute on the minute, we eat a slice of pizza. And he was just like, okay, hold on, let's meet in the middle. Every other minute on the minute, we eat a slice of pizza, and the other minute on the minute, we do a rope climb. And I was like, well, I can't do a rope climb. He's like, I can't eat 20 slices of pizza. But now that I'm getting better at CrossFit and can do rope climbs, maybe I will call him out, and we'll call you Jordan. I think that's probably a WOD that you would crush really.
That'd be great.
Yeah, just those fun kind of like, I don't know, like who would think like to eat and work out? But
Right.
I think it would be terrible. A different.
I've done beer and work out.
Yeah, is that like the power hour or something?
Yeah. I got in trouble for that.
So I bet the mornings after crushing some about a bunch of carbs, and you said you actually feel better in the morning.
I feel better. If I don't eat enough carbs, I feel like I don't let my muscles recover as much.
Okay.
It doesn't help my muscles recover as much. I don't know the science behind it, but I'm glad that this guy figured it out.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
I for me, I try to eat different. I'm following like a macro program where I eat a certain amount of macros per day, and I work with Dylan Harris. He's my coach, and he so I follow what he's put, and if I have a bad night or something like that, that next day I feel terrible, dehydrated and gross. But that's pretty cool that I guess it's because you're just not eating carbs all day. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, and that's the thing. A lot of people will eat carbs for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will eat bad carbs for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I eat high glycemic carbs for dinner, but I don't eat anything else during the day.
Yeah.
The science behind it, the way he explained it, the guy who came up with carb backloading, he said when you wake up, you have your cortisol levels are high.
Mm-hmm.
That's a stress hormone. And they say when you eat carbs in the morning, it spikes your insulin because insulin's more sensitive. And he says whenever your insulin mixes with cortisol, it promotes fat production.
Okay.
So you want to avoid carbs as long as you can. And then save them for night. So if you can avoid mixing the insulin with cortisol, you don't promote fat production. And then at night, whenever you work out and you have your carbs, it actually helps build lean muscle according to the science.
Okay.
I'm getting blood work done in January, February to see how it looks, because I've been doing it now for 2.5 years, and from all the sweets and junk food that I posted, of course my mom's worried about me. So
like, what's your
I'm getting blood work done.
Like your triglycerides.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see if it is actually healthy for me.
So tell us a little about CrossFit Provision. So you guys have been open about 2.5 years, and like you guys have I know several of your members. You guys have a lot of members here.
Yeah, we have well over 200 now.
That's awesome.
And we continue to grow all the time. It seems like the only time anyone ever leaves is whenever they actually move and leave town.
Yeah.
Other times people are just busy, they get busy seasons, and then they end up coming back a few months later once they're not quite as busy. So we have, I'd say, anywhere from 220 to 250. We have over 100 people show up every day to come work out.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can continue that trend, because we had about 100 after 1 year, 200 after 2 years, so hopefully we can get up to 3 after 3.
That would be great.
Continue to grow. So.
And you guys just expanded in a sense too, right? Like,
yeah, we had about 6,700 square foot of rubber, and classes were getting bigger, and we were really jam packed. One night I think I had 53 people in a 5:30 workout.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's the only time that's happened in our group classes. Whenever we have like fundraisers or anything like that, we've had about that many, if not more. But we just added another 1,800 to 2,000 square feet of rubber, and so now our classes, I mean, we've got plenty of space for our regular classes, and then at 6:30 we also have basics.
Okay.
And so basics has room. We just added a freestanding rig in the corner as well, and basics uses that.
Okay.
So
basics is your beginners class,
course.
and that's a whole month long, isn't it?
Yep. It's just 12 sessions 3 times a week, just kind of breaking down CrossFit in as slowly a manner as possible. And I mean, basics, I tell people, it's not required, because our coaches we go over every movement like coaches should.
Yeah.
And show everyone exactly how to do it correctly. And if someone's new, then we'll spend more one-on-one time with that person.
Sure.
And then once like the conditioning starts, we'll show everybody how to scale or modify movements if they need to.
Yeah.
So, and that's another reason I love CrossFit so much, is anybody can do it, because every single thing we do in here can be scaled or modified.
Yeah.
There's a lot of CrossFit haters out there, but honestly, I feel like the CrossFit haters are the ones that have never done it.
Yeah.
Or they've gone to someone that that shouldn't be coaching it.
Yeah, they had one bad experience and they judged the whole. I mean, I had him on the podcast, and he's a good example where he was just like, bro, lifter, bodybuilder, and he's like, hating on CrossFit, and then he tried it out, and he was just like, okay. Yeah. What is this?
It's totally different than what a lot of people think. And on the other side, some people think it's super intense, and I can't do that. Look at those people.
You guys are crazy. I can't.
Yeah, because they see it on like ESPN or whatever, and those are the elite athletes. They're the best in the world. Like, I couldn't go out there and play in the NFL or play Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
But you can go out and play in a beer league, softball, or go play flag football, something like that. Yeah. It's the same thing. You can come in here, anybody can do it, and everything's scalable and modifiable.
You got moms and seniors and...
Yeah, I have 7-year-old girls, and I have 60-plus-year-old guys in here. So anybody can do it. All you got to do is just stay consistent and show up, and you'll see results, and the community's great. Everyone's so nice. Yeah. You meet so many great people through it, and it's not just about the working out. It's all about building the family.
The family. I don't come to your gym, but I know through competition, I know you, I know a bunch of people from your gym, just because we are a family. Like that's one of the things I love about doing competitions or even volunteering at competitions, is because it's an opportunity for me to see people from other gyms, and you guys we're all out working towards the same goal, getting healthy, getting in better shape. But you said they have that family environment. Like always people talk about, because you're putting time in with these same people week in, week out, and they become family. And the cool thing about competing on a team is, like, for HOA, for me, the practices we had put us to get closer, that much closer. So, like, what's it like for you, like, competing on teams, especially at some of the levels of teams that you've been on?
Team training is a blast, because you're not just there suffering doing one workout by yourself. You get to switch your partners get to carry the load a little bit, and it's your turn to go, and you get to go. They're a lot more laid back. I love team competitions. Obviously, I don't ever want to let my team down. So that's going to push me harder. But you work as hard as you can for a couple minutes, if that, and then your partner gets to go and you get to rest. So that's why I love team comps. Individual comps, I get super anxious. I'm so nervous because it's just me out there. All eyes are on me. And if I'm in the back of the pack, I'm like,
why is that going?
And I love how CrossFit cheers for the person in last, as opposed. I mean, obviously you're going to cheer for the people who win. But everyone still cheers for the people who were in the back.
Well, I mean, how many other competitions or sports where the people that are done come around and cheer you on, and then the crowd goes crazy when you finish?
But I myself don't like when people cheer me on.
Really?
Yes.
Just because you feel like I should be done?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I feel like, man, I'm better than this. I should be done right now. I should have pushed myself harder. I shouldn't have. And then I just start analyzing the workout, like, man, I shouldn't have tried to do that Unbroken. Now I'm smoked. I should have game planned this better. So then I just get hard on myself, and when people cheer me on, I'm like, just leave me alone. Let me finish this.
Let me sulk in my It's I remember when we did an in-house comp, and I remember doing this workout, and I still weighed about 320 pounds, and we had to do like all these, like, everyone was done, and I still had to do deadlifts, and I still had to run. And I remember everyone with eyes on me, and for some reason one of the guys is like, hey, everyone on the deadlift should take your shirt off. And, like, for people in good shape, that's not a big deal. I'm 320 pounds, and I ripped my shirt off, and I realized instantly, like, deadlifts with your shirt off is not a good idea. And everyone's standing around me cheering. It was very embarrassing. And then I realized I still had to run another, like, 100 meters with my shirt off. It was...
But that's the thing, is that... Okay, like Planet Fitness says, no judgment zone. No, but they say no lunks allowed. You can't do deadlifts. You can't drop weights. In here, it literally is a no judgment zone. No one judges you for anything. As long as you're in here, they love you. We love having people in here. We love people. We just want everyone to come in and get fit, become a fitter version of themselves. And that, like, everything in there, it's all relative. You push yourself as hard as you want to push. It's not like you have to do it this fast or you can't come back.
You don't have to win the workout. You just need to finish it. And even if you can't finish it, you do as hard as you can, and if you hit the time cap, people look at you and know that you left it out there. So that's why I love CrossFit for that reason too. And people are, like, so ready and willing to cheer you on your story. I mean, like, for me, I've lost 95 pounds.
That's amazing.
And people out of the woodworks, like, people that I see maybe just at competitions, they're just like, holy crap, you're missing a person. And I'm like, I didn't even know you knew who I was, and that's why I love this community so much. So how do you approach your programming? I know you do all the programming for Provision, so, like, when you think about writing WODs for a week, what is kind of like...
So in school, I was a crammer. I never studied a week out from a test. It was night before. Let's get as much as we can done, and I'll wing it on the test if I have to. That's kind of how I approach my programming. I will, because I usually do all the workouts with the classes, so I kind of see how I feel after I get done, and then once I do it, I'm like, okay, this is sore, this is going to be sore. this is what we'll do tomorrow. I'll never program like legs 2 days in a row, or
Okay.
even legs 2 days after we did a leg day, because typically I'm more sore 2 days after than I am the day after.
Sure, yeah. Isn't
And
that
so
weird?
I tried to mix it up. If we did a push one day, the next day we're going to do a pull movement. Then the next day after that we'll do legs, and then we might go back to a push or a pull the next day. But I just try to make it so we're not hitting the same body parts back to back and nothing's getting overworked, overused. And I've always had the strength and then conditioning, and then 1 or 2 days a week we'll do just a long chipper, or just recently we've started doing the alternating EMOMs with anywhere from 3 to 5 movements. And I feel like those are a great way to help you get better as an athlete, the alternating EMOMs, because once you finish your work, you can rest, but as soon as that minute starts, you gotta get going, or the clock's gonna catch you.
Yeah.
So it doesn't allow you to rest for as long as you want to, but it does allow you to have some sort of rest during it. So I really like those. I started programming those. But then since we started adopting Jared's percentage work, it's helped me as a programmer, because I know that 3 days a week we're going to do squats one day, strict press another day, deadlifts one day. So that day, if on days we do squats, we'll do some sort of front squat, lunge, overhead squat, back squat in the WOD, something like that.
Okay.
On the deadlift days, it'll be some sort of posterior chain. We'll either do deadlifts in the workout, we'll do kettlebell swings, and then on the strict press day, it'll usually be some sort of shoulder to overhead or shoulder movement. This past week, we did strict press, and then for the workout, it was just basically a skill workout, but we did handstand walks, rope climbs, and double unders.
Okay.
So we really smashed the shoulders that day, but the next day, we got away from it. We went to squats, and it was all lower body. So
That's cool.
everything that was sore from Monday didn't get hit on Tuesday. So just from, I've probably been lifting now for a decade.
Yeah.
And
So you know your way around a barbell.
right, and I've seen plenty of different programs. I've been a part of plenty of different programs, and I know what I like and don't like, and so I kind of just pick what things what I liked about programs, and that's what I kind of do with mine. So
It makes sense. It seems to be working because you got 50 people in a class.
yeah, and that's the thing, is that people love it. And one of the things too is with the warm-ups, so in my opinion, warm-ups need to be monotonous.
Yeah.
Like we do all your dynamic warm-ups. In my classes, we do the same one every day.
Like the bird.
We do like, we'll skip to the pull-up rig, skip backwards, we'll do high knees, butt kicks, we'll do the elbow to instep, Samson stretch, karaoke, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I want the body to be loose before we start working and warmed up. I don't like how the CrossFit term, our warm-up is your workout.
Yeah.
To me, that is a way that people get injured. And that's probably one of the reasons why CrossFit got a bad name. I don't mind our warm-up is your workout if you do a warm-up before that warm-up.
Yeah.
So I think that you've got to get the body loose before you do anything. Like even a run. Like don't tell me,
Don't go sprint.
hey, go run a 600 meters and then come back in and we'll warm up. No, I don't want to pull a hamstring or something, or tear something as I'm jogging down the road because I'm not warmed up. Yeah. And usually it's probably not going to happen, but there's a chance that it will.
Sure.
And so I've had no injuries in my classes, and I see 100 people a day. Yeah. And it's been 2.5 years. The only injuries I've had are like the tails on our ropes before we cut them. Mm-hmm. They were a little long, and someone dropped from a little high and they landed on it and rolled their ankle. And another person, it was a max day. Yeah. And they were practicing squat cleans, and they hurt their wrist. Yeah. But those are little things. Usually when people come in, they're like, man, I can't come in. I hurt my groin or I hurt my knee. I'm like, what were you doing? And they'll say, oh, I was playing volleyball in tournament, or I was playing pickup basketball. I actually hurt my hamstring playing softball. We're sprinting around the bases because I didn't warm up. Yeah.
Well, it's crazy how like people, because they get in such a good shape and stuff, and they don't realize like for me to do the things I'm doing, I spend 15, 20 minutes getting ready to do it. I don't just jump in and like, hey, I'm gonna snatch 225 from cold.
Right. And when I was, and this is just a couple of years ago, I felt like I didn't have to warm up. What's that? We're so good.
Yeah, we're good. We got a visitor in here, that's all.
Jamie Ash.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Jamie?
Thanks.
A few years ago, I didn't really have to warm up, and I felt fine to go work out.
Yeah.
And
that's just being young, though, I think.
Exactly. But then now I'm starting to get these little nagging things. I'm like, dang, I've got to warm up or I'm going to be hurt. So if I don't warm up, then I end up hurting myself. So.
Okay. Yeah, it's cool how the way the classes are structured and how they teach you at the level one is just it's consistent. It's the same. And my wife, she coaches at our gym, CrossFit Republic, and she really takes the time and looks at the workouts for that day and really and tries to plan a warm up that's definitely gonna like, okay, it's shoulder heavy, so I'm gonna focus on maybe warming up the shoulders a little bit more than I don't know. I mean, that's what coaches do.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what gym you go to, that's what they're gonna strive to do.
And that's the thing too, like, yeah, the warm up's the same every day, but say we're doing deadlifts, we're gonna do some light good mornings, get the hamstrings loosened up. Or if we're doing a shoulder movement, might do something with the 2.5 to 5 pound plates, something like that. Every day we end up using the PVC pipes to get the shoulders and chest, everything loosened up. But again, once we get done with the basic warm up, whatever the movement calls for or whatever the strength calls for, we're going to warm that up with a light weight and make sure everyone's loose before we start putting on the heavy loads.
Which is cool. I like that a lot. I mean, that's one thing that really drew me to CrossFit. Because I mean, before I ran a lot and then lost some weight running, and then I went to like Anytime Fitness, and you're just in there with machines. You're just like, and like I try to make friends in there because there's some, and they're just like, leave me alone. I'm in the squat rack right now, you know, and I'm like, what do I do on this machine, Thunder? But like, at a CrossFit gym, you're just like, hey. Even I'm sure people come up to you and like, hey, I have this weakness. Can you help me with rope climbs? Any coach I know, they'll be like, all right, let's go over. I have 5 minutes. Let's go over rope climbs right now.
Yep.
Where are you going to find that anywhere else?
Exactly, and that's another thing with CrossFit. If you've never looked at the prices, but if you have, you would see that CrossFit joining for a membership is much more expensive than going to an Anytime Fitness or something like that. But you don't have to pay for a personal trainer. We go over everything and make sure you know what you're doing. If you have any questions at all, you can ask, and there's no fear of asking, and you're not worried that the person's gonna freak out on you. Yeah, you're like, yeah, no problem. What's up?
Yeah, let's go over this. So I watched some of your guys' workouts. We just talked about some of the team workouts, and I watched Jared's Periscope of that team series. How terrible were those workouts? Like
they were pretty nasty. There were a few that we didn't game plan on because after watching the videos of the top teams, we were a little frustrated with ourselves, and after it was all said and done, we're like, whatever. We got to hang out with our friends and work out, and we still did well. Yeah. We would have liked to have done better, but I mean, top 10's pretty good, I'd say. And so, game planning is a huge thing as far as competing goes, because if you have a good game plan, then you have the upper hand on your competitor.
Yeah. You practice your transitions. You have Like, what was the worst of those workouts that you guys had to do? For you, like, what did you just... and what was the best one as well?
Probably the worst one for me, because my shoulder has been bugging me, we had to do a shoulder to overhead and toe to bar one. And that's one, anything on the bar, and that day my shoulder was just acting up. Anything on the bar hanging was bugging my shoulder. And so I had to do a reverse grip with left hand.
So it's a little bit harder.
Yeah, and it was a little weird. But then hanging, I hadn't really hung from a bar either for that long.
Yeah.
And anytime someone was doing a shoulder to overhead, we had to hang from the bar. And so my grip was toasted. I was dying.
Yeah.
It was terrible. But that's just part of training. Like, you've got to keep up with your mobility and your warm-ups and staying healthy, going and seeing your chiropractor or your physical therapist, whatever. Just anything that you can do to help keep you in the gym every day.
Yeah, and your team was Jared Stevens, Mallory Lawson,
Yep.
and Brooke Wells and you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty fun team, man. Like, cool people.
I mean, 3 of those, my teammates were all games athletes, so it was pretty cool getting to spend weekends with them working out.
Yeah, that just seems like, I mean, you see people that, like, people are like, oh, they're a games athlete, but who cares? They're just people that like to work out.
It's crazy because, I've known them for a few years now.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, they went to California and they're competing with the best in the world.
And doing well.
Yes. Doing really well.
Yeah.
But it's really neat.
Yeah. I've helped out with some of the competitions at 417. I helped out with Shredfest.
Yeah.
And at first I was just like, oh, it's Jared Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
But then as I helped out with different things, I'm like, he's just a bro, just doing things, just working, who cares if he can lift, clean 405.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome for him.
Yeah,
but
that's amazing.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I was really happy with my 245 the other day. I was just like, you put, the thing is cool, is like if you stick with it. Like me, I couldn't deadlift 225 when I first started CrossFit, and I worked out before I came over here. I was practicing partner competition, some of the workouts for Sertoma, and we had to do 10 deadlifts at 225, and then your partner got to do double unders the rest of that minute.
Yeah.
And my goal was to do all 10 in 10 seconds at 225, and I reflected back on that, like, I couldn't have done that before. So. I know we pulled up social media. Did you have yours pulled up? Because we asked a couple questions.
I have one pulled up from James.
He's
Strathby.
Yeah, he's a good dude. What do you want to?
It says he's asking advice on building muscular endurance, and he said specifically, like on Fran on the Air Force WOD, would you approach them differently? With Fran, so thrusters and pull-ups are probably 2 of my top 5 probably movements, I'd say, because again, like the opposite of rowing, I have short legs, short arms, so thrusters, I have a quick cycle rate, and pull-ups, if I do a wide grip, I hardly have to move at all to get my chin over the bar. So Fran for me is a dead sprint the whole time. I'm going to go as fast as I can, I'm dropping the bar, I'm jumping up on the pull-up bar.
Yeah.
If that's something that's not possible for you, then what I tell a lot of my members is stay manageable with your sets, but decrease your rest periods.
Okay.
So a lot of them, the thrusters are the problem. So I'll have them, if they can do 11 and 10 on the thrusters on the 21, then do that as long as your rest is short. But if you do 11 and you have to wait like 30 seconds to pick it back up,
no point.
Then try to do 3 sets of 7. So a lot of times going into workouts, you've got to know you and what you can do. And then the same thing with pull-ups. We had to do, I remember a few years ago, in I think it was 2013, one of the workouts, we had to do 100 chest to bars in the workout. And a lot of guys can probably do 50 to 60 chest to bars in a row.
Yeah.
But not one guy did that. We all did sets of 3 to 5 the whole time. But as soon as we dropped, we shook it out, we jumped back up.
You could keep going. That reminds me of
know your own body.
That chipper workout at regionals this year, where you had to do, or was it maybe last year? But no, was it this year? It was just terrible. Like hardly anyone finished it. Like just a handful.
It was a mile run. That one.
No, it was.
Are you talking about the 50
the row.
calorie row?
Yeah, the row.
That was last year.
Okay.
So there's the calorie row, box overs, deadlifts, wall balls, ring dips.
The one that I saw finish it, he, instead of going on and cranking out, he did everything in sets.
Yeah.
And just paced himself at those sets, and he finished it.
Yeah, and that's the and I did the same thing this year for the open workout with the muscle ups, wall balls, and double unders.
Yeah.
So wall balls, yeah, I can do a set of 50 unbroken, but then I'm not gonna be able to keep moving as fast as I'd like to. So I think I did sets of 5 to 10. I just dropped, picked it right back up.
Right back up.
So I wasn't continuing to move, but I was doing small, manageable sets for me. So as far as Fran goes, for me, that's a dead sprint. But if that's not something that is in the cards for you, then listen to your body, know what you can do. With the Air Force WOD, so that's got 5 burpees, I think, every minute on the minute, and then there's like thrusters, front squats, overhead squats, push press, and sumo deadlift high pulls.
Yeah.
So I would try to go unbroken as long as I possibly could. So I'd hit my 5 burpees to start. I don't know if it starts with 5 burpees or not, but anyway.
Yeah, I think you start with a 5.
Mm-hmm. So as soon as I'm on the bar, I'm going to go unbroken as long as I can. As soon as that clock's up and I have to do more burpees, I'll do my burpees right away. I won't rest, and I'll get back on the bar.
Okay.
And then say it's 20 reps for each movement. So if I finish my thrusters at 20 and I have 10 seconds left, I'm not going to rest that 10 seconds. I'm going to knock out as many reps as I can of the next movement. It might be push press, I think. So I'm going to do as many as I can in 10 seconds. That way after I do my burpees, I'm back on the bar. I can finish my push press, and then I can move on to the sumo deadlift high pulls. The sumos, for me, the last time I did this, it's with 95 pounds is prescribed, but last time I did it, I had to do it with 135.
Okay.
And
you just do it
miserable. I just did, it was programmed in that competitor's training.
Oh, okay,
thing,
yeah.
and it was terrible. But with the sumos, so at regionals, we only had to pull it up to our collarbone and drop it.
Okay.
Every time before then I had done sumos, I pulled it up and you have to control it to the floor.
Control the floor.
So that day, I pulled it up to my collarbone and dropped it, and I did singles the whole time, but I stayed moving.
Yeah.
And that's one of the other things I do is a lot of singles with movements like cleans and snatches.
Mm-hmm.
As long as whenever you drop it, you don't step back, you stay right on the bar, you can continue to cycle through, and you're moving just about as fast, if not as fast, as if you were tap and going.
Yeah.
You're not expending nearly the energy.
Yeah, I PR'd Grace doing that.
Yeah.
Just dropping it every rep.
Yep. Singles, for me, are the best way to do things, except for maybe on like the last round, if you have it in you,
just
tap and go as fast as you can, if you can do it. But
that's when you empty the tank.
Yeah, empty the tank. You don't have anything left. Get in your mind, say, I'm going to do this, and I'm done.
That's the dark place.
Yes.
That's cool.
And so that's one of the things I've kind of learned from working out with Jared. He does a lot of singles, and I started to do that with him after watching him do workouts. I'm like, okay, I'll try it out. And it helps my times, it helps my rest periods be a lot shorter, and it saves me from fatiguing too soon.
Yeah. And it's funny how people are like, oh, come on, tap and go. He goes like, well, I'm actually beating you in this workout now because I'm dropping and recovering a little bit better.
Right. And I tell people all the time, do not do huge sets. It will catch up to you. Like, someone might be able to do 30 push-ups in a row, but the next set they might do 16 and 14.
Yeah.
Well, the third set they might be doing 3s.
Yeah.
Do
10s.
It catches up.
Yeah.
I do sets of 5 on push-ups all the time, as long as I'm resting with a little amount. So
like shake back on it.
So the key, I think, to moving through workouts, the longer ones, is just staying manageable. Yeah. You don't want a red line out of the gate. You want
so
to
you're
save
saying
the
like
red line
80 to 90% effort on those.
Mm-hmm. So. But again, as far as Fran goes,
95.
I have my foot on the gas and it's touching the floor the whole time for Fran.
That's such a terrible workout. Do you love it? Do you like going?
I don't enjoy it, but it doesn't. Like when I'm done, I'm walking around and I'm fine. Okay. Everyone talks about the Fran lung. I had a Fran lung actually last week or the week before. It was 7 rounds, 7 power cleans at 95 pounds, 7 thrusters, and 7 bar facing burpees.
Oh, we did that. We did that at Republic. Comp training. Macy did that one. I was coughing like crazy after that.
I was coughing, my throat burned. I'm like, okay, this is what Fran lung feels like.
Yeah, you did. I did it. I got Fran lung.
Yeah, and that that workout sucked. That was another one where I went unbroken on it, but my burpees were slow.
Yeah.
Fairly slow towards the
More recovery on those
fourth,
burpees.
sixth, and
Yeah.
seventh round. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to go fast on the burpees, but as soon as I start to breathe heavy,
Yeah.
I'm just moving.
Yeah.
Maybe slow, but I'm just trying to stay moving on that.
So I got a question from Jacob Hepner.
Oh boy.
Speaking of games athlete, he said, and you got a ditto on the question from Paul Tyler. Said, how did you get such big traps?
I feel like I've had fairly big traps since I was younger. Anytime I look back at pictures when I was little and I'm flexing with my friends, I always have my traps lifted up. But I think one of the main things is in high school, we didn't do cleans from the ground. Most of our cleans were hang cleans. So whenever we were cleaning, and even in college, we did a lot of just hang cleans.
Hang cleans, you didn't.
And I would hinge back
shrug.
and throw my hips, but I'd shrug big time. And lifting in high school, I'd say we did quite a few shrugs.
Yeah.
But I think cleans are what really did it. A lot of hang cleans.
Hang cleans. I remember in high school seeing the guy that would put on the bench just 600 pounds, and he'd grab it and just start doing shrugs on it and stuff, and you're just like, oh my gosh, beast mode.
Right.
But that's some traps.
Yeah.
Jacob Hepner's hilarious. I might try to get him on the podcast someday.
He's a funny dude.
He is so. His interviews at regionals and the games are just
even after workouts, he's just like full of energy. I'm like, dude, I'm so jealous right now. I'm dying.
So we're almost at an hour, but I usually like to ask people if someone came in, I'm sure you get it all the time being a gym owner, what are the top 3 things that that you would give for advice to someone that not just CrossFit but just wanted to become fitness? Because the Unbroken podcast is about weightlifting, is about weight loss and just overall fitness. So what advice would you give? 3 things that you give on?
I don't know how many things I'll end up giving, but
give them all. 20.
When someone new comes in, and especially if it's someone that's wanting to try CrossFit, I always tell them to take it easy when they first start. If you check your ego at the door, you'll be fine, and you won't just get totally destroyed and wrecked by the workout.
Yeah.
There's examples of people coming in, and one of them was Murph, was the first workout.
Oh my gosh.
And I told him,
that's a mile run, 100.
1 mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and another mile run. And you can break up those reps any way you want, but still a ton of reps. So I told the person, just do ring rows, do push-ups on your knees if you have to, and just take it easy on the squats. Well, they wanted to push themselves, and I'm all about push yourself, do it. That's great. But since they did pull-ups, push-ups off the knees, they came back a week later and they said, dude, I couldn't put my shirt on for 4 days. My wife had to dress me. So
I couldn't get off the toilet.
Yeah. And so the reason I tell people is to ease into it, and the first week you might, and I mean, it's still going to be a good workout, but you might not think, oh, the CrossFit's not that hard. But if you ease into it, you will get to see all the different movements of CrossFit, and you'll get
your body conditions to it.
And you'll learn all the different movements of CrossFit because you get to show up every day if you ease into it, and you're not going to be super sore.
Yeah.
If you come in and you try to just blast a workout and you're sore for a week, and you come back the next week and we're doing the same movements you did the first time, you're not going to get a good background of what CrossFit's all about. So you might get a bad idea of what CrossFit's about. So we are an all-inclusive fitness. We want to be good at everything. And so if you just come in and you want to just go ham on your first workout and you can't come back for a week, then you kind of lost sight of what you're trying to do.
And it's hard for you to have the desire to come for the next week and come for the next classes.
And so they get a bad idea of what it's about, and that's probably why a lot of people are lost when it comes to their knowledge of CrossFit. Another thing, and maybe CrossFit's not for everyone. I think it is.
Yeah.
Because from my experience, I have people who have never set foot in the gym before, and I have people who are professional athletes that have come in here. So anybody can do it, any fitness level.
Right next to each other.
Yes. And you've just got to kind of broaden your horizons and come out of your shell if you're kind of shy. Because there are a lot of people, you're going to be working out next to a lot of people, but you get to know people and you get to learn how great everyone is.
Yeah.
And everyone's so welcoming and nice. Someone's not going to be like, "Ugh, who are you?"
Yeah.
Like,
you get your buddies in your classes, your
Yeah.
lifting partners, your friends.
Yeah. And another, like, when you come in, bring a friend, and that way you guys have each other, and then you get to meet each other, and it's not as stressful to come in by yourself
Yeah.
to a huge class. So, I mean, and as far as fitness world goes, being the fittest version of yourself is, I think, one of the most important things you can do in life, because I mean, your body's your temple and you need to take care of it.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just love trying to find out what my body can possibly do, what I can possibly do physically.
Yeah. And you get better every day.
And it's just, it just puts me in a better mood when I get to come in and work out.
Yeah.
If I'm not working out, then I get in a bad mood and I have a short fuse. So, I don't know. I don't even know if that was 3 points, but
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate it. I mean, we're at an hour. It went by quick, so
yeah, thanks for having me.
yeah. So if you guys enjoyed the podcast, please like and subscribe, and that way more people can see it. And I hope you enjoyed listening to today's Unbroken podcast. And remember to live unbroken. Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you.